Welcome aboard the Culture Station. My name is Vince. Let's see what we find out there today.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you all had a great weekend. Did you do anything fun? Personally, I didn't really do anything this weekend. Didn't get a chance to go see Godzilla for a second time, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'll get to before they pull it out of theaters. But with all that being said, I did manage to avoid watching the new episode of Doctor Who, and it seems like I'm in the majority there. But if you didn't catch it and you haven't heard anything about it, consider yourself lucky. I've heard plenty, and I'm glad that, as far as I'm concerned, Doctor Who stopped with the end of Amy Pond and Rory. That was to me when the show ended. I didn't really care for the last season of Matt Smith with Clara. Tried watching the Capaldi Doctor, and even though I think Capaldi himself is a fantastic actor, I have nothing against him, I just wasn't a fan of where the show was going. I think I watched one episode, maybe two, of his run, and just I was good. You know, my wife tried really hard, and she couldn't stick with it. And then there's the Jodie Whittaker thing, and then now these new specials, which even though I have yet to watch one of them, I have heard enough of the plots of the first two to be able to give you a good summary. And then on the newest episode, I don't even know what the episode is about, other than by the end of it, the new Doctor comes, right? And there's an article that came out about how bad the ratings bomb was on this new episode of Doctor Who. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Cosmic Book News reports Doctor Who ratings bomb with Ncuti Gatwa by generation. Not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. That's how I've heard it pronounced, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But I've heard it pronounced Ncuti Gatwa, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it. The Giggle is the least watched of the three specials and has lost nearly 500,000 viewers in 2 weeks. Geronimo, the BBC, Doctor Who, Disney Plus, and Russell T Davies could be in a heap of trouble judging by the ratings for the episodes involving the introduction of the new Time Lord Ncuti Gatwa. Normally, whenever a new Doctor is introduced, the ratings see a large spike as fans are curious about who the new Doctor will be and how it will all unfold. However, this isn't the case with Saturday's special, The Giggle, which features David Tennant regenerating, quote-unquote, into Ncuti Gatwa, as they are nothing to laugh about. Just the fact that the episode is called The Giggle is just... That right there should tell you exactly where this show is headed. Less viewers showed up, and The Giggle is the least watched of the three new specials, coming in at 4.62 million viewers. That's down from 4.83 from the second special and down from 5.08 in the first. That marks a loss of nearly 500,000 viewers in only 2 weeks. And who's surprised by that? You know, the Star Beast had all their had the trans thing with Rose. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. Just crammed down your throat, right? And then had, oh, well, we can't expect a male presenting Time Lord to understand things, because apparently, let's just throw this out there, according to that special, a woman who transitions into a man, which is what Jodie Whittaker did into David Tennant, right, is now stupider due to the very fact that they are now a man. Okay? So not that I believe that a woman can become a man, but if you do, that also makes her stupider and less able to understand things. And then with Wild Blue Yonder, you have David Tennant Doctor becoming gay, literally. Donna telling him how he's always been gay, even though he was married to River Song and has a kid with River Song, as you saw in the episode where they're on that spaceship. I think it's the one where they meet Satan. I'm not positive. It's been a few years since I've watched it, but and you also have Indian Isaac Newton, and we're racist if we have any problems with them race swapping a historical figure, right? Okay. So that's exactly why they've lost these viewers. People, this 5.08 million right here, it was only that high because people were hoping beyond hope that David Tennant, Russell T Davies being back, Catherine Tate would actually make for a good show. But they're so far removed from when they were good, from 20, what was it, 2010, 2011, 2012, that they it's not, right? And that's what people saw, and then more people saw, and as you can see, the number just keeps shrinking. As I previously wrote, it will be quite revealing if more viewers do not show up for the Regeneration episode, which is exactly what happened. If they are already not showing up for the most popular Time Lord, David Tennant, it's definitely not a good sign for the 15th Doctor. Worth a mention regarding Disney Plus is that while we still don't have the ratings, as Nielsen is always weeks behind, Samba TV hasn't released any numbers. Samba TV usually releases numbers for new shows on Disney Plus in regards to the number of households that have watched the show in the first 5 days or so of release. However, Samba TV has been silent about the data for the 3 Doctor Who specials. Likewise, Disney has also been silent and hasn't made any official announcement as they did for Loki Season 2 and Ahsoka. If the ratings are bombing in the UK, which is the home of the series, it's not far-fetched to think Doctor Who is also bombing on Disney Plus and the rest of the world. On the plus side, at least the ratings for Ncuti Gatwa aren't as bad as Jodie Whittaker. But again, nowhere near previous numbers. Worth a note is you can see the massive drive in ratings from Smith to Capaldi to Whittaker's back to Tennant's Regeneration, which shows just how many fans have stopped watching the once beloved series. Ratings for Regeneration episodes. So for Eccleston to Tennant, you had 6.91. For Tennant to Smith, you had 10.57. Smith to Capaldi, it dropped to 8.3, and probably because I'm not the only one who found Clara obnoxious and found the writing of the show had already started going downhill. Capaldi to Whittaker, 5.7 million. Whittaker to Tennant, 3.71, and then Tennant to Gatwa, 4.62. Now, why he gets his first name here and nobody else does, we'll go ahead and say that's just a coincidence, right? But you have people here like Nerdrotics on Gary from Nerdrotics Gary from Nerdrotic on Twitter, posting things like this. Doctor gave birth to another doctor with no pants and out of his penis. And that's exactly what we got here. And I have seen this clip. It is embarrassing. They are calling it a bi-generation, not a regeneration. And they are saying that the reason, or that's how it always happens, that the doctor doesn't die and get reborn into somebody else. The doctor splits, and that the original version stays. And now there's a new version running around, right? Okay, well, the first Doctor had to do it, had to be regenerated. William Hartnell regenerated because the actor was getting too old to play the part. And so the character became too old. That was the whole story, right? Doctor was too old. He literally was dying of old age. So he died and regenerated into a newer, younger body. Well, if he bi-generated, like David Tennant, then wouldn't that mean like every 2 seconds he'd be popping out a new Doctor because he's dying, his body's dying? It's not like he got shot or he just chose to do it, or like when Tennant turned into Smith, he got a massive dose of radiation that was killing his young, healthy body. When you retcon things, and people still don't seem to understand this, 99% of the time you're going to introduce a bunch more issues because you're not smart enough. 90% of people out there are not smart enough to retcon something and do it properly, and do it in a way where they don't introduce contradictions to the story, right? So you shouldn't. I'm not a big fan of, I've never been a big fan of retcons in anything. I can't off the top of my head think of any that have done it well. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's retcons that have done it well, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Let me know in the comments if you can. I would love to be wrong here. But anyways, that's the bad news over the weekend, right? Some good news from this weekend. Here's Godzilla -1, bigger box office success than thought. Godzilla -1 is proving to be an even bigger success than first thought. As much like The King of the Monsters, the film is a towering triumph at the box office. It has been reported that the film's budget is $15 million, so within a week of release, it's already tripled that number. However, director Takahashi Yamazaki has actually revealed that Godzilla -1 budget is much lower. While Yamazaki didn't reveal the exact number, he said, I wish it were that much. The director also thanks fans of North America for the support, as Godzilla -1 is now the highest grossing live-action movie from Japan to release in North America, and the film will potentially get nominated for a Best VFX Oscar. which would be great. It definitely deserves it, especially considering the price or the budget. Um, but I feel like that Oscars value has been diminished greatly by the fact that they're also nominating the Marvels. That joke of a fucking movie. We're excited by the tremendous response in North America. I've been reading the fan feedback on social media, and I'm very encouraged by the passionate comments based on a thorough analysis of the film. In some theaters, I've heard there was even applause. Thank you for warmly receiving our Godzilla. Box office estimates also offer only a 44% drop for its second weekend, which is phenomenal. And on that note, it was actually much better than that. This article here after the weekend, this article came out yesterday evening, but the update went today. The update that went live today is only dropped 26.3% between week 1 and week 2, which is definitely the smallest drop week 1 to week 2 we've seen in a while for a big, tentpole film or popcorn film or whatever you want to call it. Because I wouldn't say a big budget film, obviously. The Marvels had what, like an 80% drop. I think Ant-Man had like a 60% drop week 1 to week 2. The Flash was like a 60% drop week 1 to week 2. So just a 20% drop over the weeks goes to show how much word of mouth, how much good word of mouth this film is getting, and the box office mojo here just to really solidify it shows that it made what, 8.5 mil over the weekend here in the States. So on its second weekend, it made almost half its budget back. And that's because the movie's phenomenal. The movie is absolutely phenomenal. The movie is so darn good that even in the scenes where there's no Godzilla, no big lizard go bang, break things, it was still good. Like, you cared about the humans. I'm still sitting here over a week later thinking about just how great that story was. Right? It was so great that my kid, who, like, anytime anybody gets emotional while watching a movie, looks over and goes, "It's just a movie. Why are you crying?" Was there bawling her eyes out. Right? It was a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it yet, why? Why not? Everybody's here, we want good movies. We want good movies. We want good movies. A fucking phenomenal film comes out and you haven't seen it? You're crazy. Go watch it. Go watch it now. Quit your job. Leave your wife. Go watch the movie. Right? Joking, obviously, but go watch the movie if you haven't. But yeah, those are the two big stories from this past weekend. Nothing really has gone on except for Doctor Who's continuing to fail and Godzilla is continuing to soar. Have you guys seen Doctor Who? Have you seen the new Doctor Who? Did you watch old Doctor Who? If you did, when did you stop watching Doctor Who? What was your breaking point? Let me know. I very strongly remember, the watch parties from a decade ago. Doctor Who was big enough that my normie parents at least knew what it was. Didn't watch it, but knew what it was, right? This, what would be a niche British TV show from, their entire lives, that unless you were a super nerd, you never knew what it was. They knew what it was by this point, right? And now, who's going to watch this shit? Who's going to show this shit to their kids? People who support the message. That's it, right? But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm right. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And until next time, hope you guys have a great time, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.